Guys, we are live. There we go. Hello, everybody. What's going on? Oh, thank you for everybody being in chat right now. There's quite a bit of you. I love it. We're going to be getting this powerlifting meet started. I'm so excited because I get to share the same stage with Mr. Ben Rice again, the one and only powerlifting Gandalf.
That's me.
that is Ben. Guys, if you don't know Ben, and you all should know Ben by now, Ben is legitimately, I'm gonna say it, I'm putting it down here, is legitimately the strongest person on Twitch. I don't think there's anybody stronger than you.
In terms of like who's doing all of their training on the website, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll hold that particular one.
See, the things I like to do is make very specific specifications for me. Like, I am the strongest diamond Rammus player in League of Legends.
I literally will, because I'll never say strongest person on Twitch, because you never anybody could like go live and then someone could be like, but so and so has a bigger total, or so and so picked up a big rock that's stronger. But I'd be like, oh, I'm the strongest ultimate raider from Final Fantasy 14. You know, I'm the strongest. Yeah.
Which is actually kind of interesting too, because a lot of people who might not be used to Twitch, right? They're coming from the garage gym, Instagram. They just really only know powerlifting and fitness on Instagram. They don't realize that we actually play video games and lift heavy weights on this platform.
I would say at this point, I play video games like a greater portion of the time because my workouts have gotten so much faster.
Well, because you're working out, you're playing video games, you're singing,
yes.
Right? And you're doing crazy challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to, just because I want to hype you up and I like talking about you. Could you talk a little bit about the crazy challenge that you're prepping for?
The lifting one?
Yeah, the hundo.
Yeah, I've been getting ready for this thing for literally like 2 years, but I got hurt 3 days before we were supposed to do it. But the hundo is, it's an EMOM, which is not what every e-girl aspires to be. She wants to have a family, but it stands for every minute on the minute, and it is alternating between a 605-pound deadlift and a 315-pound bench press. So I start a clock, and when it hits 1 minute, we deadlift 605 for 2, and when it hits 2 minutes, we bench press 315 for 2, and we go back and forth and back and forth. And the reason it's called the hundo is because I do that for 100 straight minutes. So by the end of it, it would be 605 pounds for 100 reps on deadlift, 315 pounds for 100 reps on bench press. And I've done, like, I've prepped for it, but it's one of those things that like you can't do dry runs. You can't like, oh, I'm gonna do 40 rounds like the week before, because it's such an extreme overdose of volume that it would like it's already gonna be kind of dangerous. Like the chances of something going wrong, like I'm gonna have to have somebody in the house to make sure in case things just go horribly that I'm covered. But yeah, it's we got really close, and then on my last deload session, I pulled my gracilis like 3 days out. And so it like we did a rehab stuff, and then it's been a process of like getting back to that point, so I'll be ready to do it. But every time something comes up, whether one of our bunnies will get sick or just anything that it's like, if I lose a whole day of sleep, it kind of resets me back to like,
Let's
okay,
go, Joe.
Time to go back to starting the prep again. And because it's not something you can like, I can't just, oh, I'm not feeling good on this day. We'll just get, we'll figure it out. Like I need a solid chunk of training time into it for liability purposes, because I'm pretty sure you can't die on Twitch and not get banned.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's always been my thing too. Whenever I'm doing challenges on Twitch, I'm like, guys, if I die and I don't hit partner off this, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna haunt every single one of you.
They kick you off the platform. Like, what was it all for if I don't even get partnered as a result of my death?
Yeah, right. I'm trying to set up generational wealth for my wife, and Twitch is banning me on their platform.
Sorry, Lori.
Yeah, is that me falling?
Yeah, that's why I don't know how you're hurting yourself, but it's probably falling. With the old squat rack you guys used to have. Do you still you have a
Oh.
different one, right?
Yeah, so we have it's the Rogue RML-3. It's a great platform. I bolted it in myself, so you know it's sturdy.
I'm more concerned now than I was a second ago.
You know, honestly though, dude, I little humble brag before we start to kind of get into the thick of things.
The
Um,
humblest.
humblest. I hit 615 on squat the other day, like maybe a week or two ago, and I hit the 615. You know, feeling super strong. I go to put it in the rack, expecting for it to move, right? Because that's a significant amount of weight. Zero movement.
There you go.
Zero movement. So your boy knows
Yeah.
how to bolt things down.
My combo rack has one bolt in it. It's on that side. It's on that side of it. And so whenever I rack something, like half of the rack will kind of come up, and the other half is like, I'm fine though. I'm sure that's okay. Just
Yeah.
don't miss. Don't miss. Don't rack too hard. Don't.
See, kind of going back to your your hundo prep, I wanted to ask you. So, I've always kind of described myself as, you know, I have the heart and soul of a power lifter, but I have the hands of a florist. My hands get destroyed, Ben. Like anything
I thought you were
above
gonna say you have
500,
little hands. I didn't know. Like, what is a florist hands like? They're
they're delicate and soft, precise. Some would say.
soft boy hands. Yeah.
But like, you know, like I got calluses. You know, like you know, I lift weights, but anything over 500 pounds, my hands just tear. So how are you, like, prepping for / preventing hand tears when you have to lift 600 plus pounds 100 times?
Hand care like is a big part of it. So the night before, I'll use I will use a knife. You should never do this, but I will kind of carve off the top of my calluses, but then I'll file them all down. Because the reason the callus tears is because it's a mound on the skin that will get caught on the bar, and if there's any slide, it creates a tension point, and it will cause the shearing tearing force, which is how you would like rip a deck of cards. Is like you make a corner, and then you tear along that. But if you keep that smooth down, so like I will actually file my calluses down the night before a training session, and that's what I would recommend people do. Just file them. You don't need to
Yeah.
use it. The knife is extra. I've seen people use like a safety razor and stuff, but it's not worth it because if you go too deep on that, then you're gonna then you end up, oh, now my hand, I just created a tear where there wasn't one before.
I've created a wound.
Yeah, you just made it worse.
Yeah, like, dude, I remember constantly just deadlifting. I'm like, oh, look down, my hand's bleeding. I'm like, oh, great, I don't have a pinky callus anymore.
There is actually this stuff. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but if you want to, because this stuff is fucking expensive, is Hartman AC tape. This stuff is. I actually had a roommate in college who was one of the athletic trainers at the university, and this kind of tape is like, it looks like an Ace Bandage almost.
It's like Leuco tape.
It's flexible, but it only really sticks to itself. And so like I will tape around the fingers if I have some damage done. And I've told you before, you know this. Anything over 700 pounds, taping your hands ends up being a liability because the tape will slip off just as easily as your skin will.
Yep.
But I would also like, if I have a tear, it's like I don't really have a choice. So I will tape that around that. It's not legal in competition to do that. In a powerlifting competition, most of the rules are you can have 2 layers of standard athletic tape around your thumb. But when we're training, and we don't like. I'd rather have my hand be healthy going into a competition and tear it there than to tear it in training a week out and then have to deal with a callus recovery. And so this stuff has been really, really helpful. But it is pretty spendy, so it's one of those things you have to like. You have to prioritize it if you're doing something stupid like I'm doing.
I mean, it's a little crazy. I want to call it stupid, right?
It's a
you've been
stunt.
It's a stunt. Exactly.
It's not prudent training practice. It's not something that is going to get you better prepared for like a powerlifting competition, people ask all the time, like, oh, when's your next meet? I'm like, I can't really prep for anything
Mm-hmm.
until this is done, because it's such a different approach. It's like kind of training for a half marathon, and then
Mm-hmm.
people asking you how your prep is for the next 100-meter dash that you're gonna do. It's like, well, I right now it would not be a good idea to enter into one of those, because everything's really, really uh, specific in terms of the training, and not in a way that most people who are thinking powerlifting are gonna do it. It's basically chubby kid CrossFit. I'm doing something that would be a CrossFit workout, but it's just a lot heavier than what they would usually use.
Chubby kid CrossFit. I've never
Yeah,
heard that before. I like that.
that's my new brand. I'm gonna.
Honestly, guys, you cannot take it from him. That's his brand now.
My brand.
You will get sued if we see chubby kid CrossFit shirts popping up.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand up because this is gonna be a long day, Joseph. We need to prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally.
Yes. So let's actually talk about what we're going to be doing today. So, for everyone who's unaware, again, not familiar with Twitch, is a completely live stream. So, bear with us if there are some technical difficulties or some sound issues. It's part of the magic, it's part of the fun. Um, we are going to be reviewing the lifts from the Garage Gym competition from, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
This was a great idea, Joe. What a strat.
And you know, guys, this is why Ben is such a homie. I was like, hey, Ben, do you want to put a full workday in and watch powerlifting? He's like, yeah, dude, sign me up. I'm in. Like, without hesitation.
I'm ready.
He's like, yeah, I love sitting down for 8 hours. Let's do it.
That's why I have a standing desk, so I can sit and stand for 8 hours.
If I stand up right now, we're going to get banned.
Joe promised me. Oh no, there's no pants today. All right,
Yep.
guys. Eyes up. Eyes up.
Eyes up here, guys. But yeah, so during the entire stream, we are going to be doing giveaways starting at 9:30 a.m. So in about 10 minutes, when we have our first guest on. And these giveaways are going to be specific to the person. So just kind of a little heads up on what we're going to be giving away. If you guys like weightlifting, like fitness apparel, Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat is going to be giving away two $50 gift cards. We're going to be doing that during Rocket Fit's section. A little spoiler alert there. We got Rocket Fit on, by the way. No big deal, but we got him, guys.
Not a big deal, though.
But we got him. We're also going to be giving away a bunch of Massonomic stuff, Juggernaut AI, Garage Gym competition merch, as well as Legion products. So I'm actually #not sponsored, but I actually really like it. We're drinking Pulse pre-workout during the stream. It dials me in. It keeps me going. It gives me the energy. And also, this is from caffeine, not from the actual product itself, but it makes me not hungry because I am starving right now.
Joe, oh yeah. Do you want to? I'll tell him. Joe didn't eat before this because we make good decisions here. Sponsored by this man is like, oh yeah, 8-hour workday. Here we go. Let's not start with breakfast. Let's just pure pre-workout and a dream.
That's how all the greats were made, right? Like, do you think George Washington, when he was fighting off the redcoats, do you think he had breakfast? I don't think so, Ben. I don't think so. And that's dropping things. That's why I drink pre-workout.
And I was like, this is George is back. He's like, eat a healthy breakfast. That's what he sounded like. Exactly.
You need oats and eggs. That's what
Hamilton.
he would eat.
I'm pretty sure I knew what his diet was like. I have a firm grasp of all of American history as a result of this musical that I've seen at least once.
Yeah, right. I mean, it teaches you everything you need to know about American history. So guys, in about 5 minutes, we're gonna be pulling on our first guest. I'm gonna give a little bit of background on him, just so we don't have to have him. I'm like, hey, tell me exactly everything about you. Tell me every little detail, so we can kind of give a little rundown. His name's Joe Gray. He's the CEO of Garage Gym Competition. He's actually a really stand-up guy. He when we first did our Twitch powerlifting meet, I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey man, you do this thing on Instagram. It's amazing. I want to emulate it, but on a live platform. Could you tell me everything you're doing so I could basically copy it?" I mean, that's exactly what I said. And again,
Perfect.
without hesitation, he gave me everything. He helped me through every step. He said, "This is how you should organize it. This is what's worked for me. This is what hasn't worked for me." He was just the nicest person. And then about 6-7 months ago, he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, you still doing these Twitch powerlifting meets? Let's link up. Let's form a team and let's put on the biggest ever Twitch powerlifting meet / garage gym competition."
Hell
So
yeah.
he's an awesome guy. He's also pretty strong too, which is like always a plus, for some reason when there's also strong people doing things. It makes it better. I don't know why.
Well, being strong is pretty convenient, and it's whenever you're doing something that's going to be like workout or fitness related, it's kind of nice that somebody has some practical experience as well, because it's not an easy thing to do to get really, really strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even there yet, and it's difficult now. It's tough, man.
I every single day, I'm like, how do I continue? You know what? We're just gonna keep making it up as we go. That's all there is.
Just gonna add more reps, more weight, work on this thing called progressive overload.
Yep, progressively, I'm overloading. That's what we're gonna do.
I was talking to a person the other day, and they're like, "Oh, Joe, it's, I've been watching your Instagram videos. You're I want to get strong like you. So, I started working out with powerlifting like a month ago, and I think yesterday I finally hit my progressive overload." I was like, "It's what? It's not a point."
I hit it. No, I found it.
I was like,
I found the point of overloaded. I did it. Good job, me.
I'm done, right? This is it. Oh man, I'm just like, oh okay. I didn't know it was a point, but I'm glad you're chasing after powerlifting. I'm glad you're chasing after getting strong, because again, there's nothing more exciting than getting strong and realizing your potential.
It's also just so convenient. I'm gonna be honest. The whole reason I do this is so that I can be strong enough to open any pickle jar in existence.
I mean, that's true. Dude, my wife, Snorri Cake, she's in chat somewhere. She asks every now and then. She asks me to open things, right? I think it's more for my own ego.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, there was this jar that she asked me to open maybe about 6 months ago, and for the life of me, I could not open it up. Like to the point where I'm like breaking the glass trying to open it, and I was like, "Hey, you're not eating this. We're throwing it away. I will not be defeated by a jar."
Clearly there's something wrong with this, because for them to put this out on the market, they expected that someone would need to be able to deadlift 600 plus pounds and hold on to that to be able to open it, and I can't. So there's something wrong. I don't trust it. It's probably of the devil.
I'm just not a high enough level to obtain this loot, and I don't want it weighing me down. Right?
Yeah, there's something not. This is a mimic. That's why I can't open it. It's a mimic. I'm gonna open it up. There's gonna be teeth, and a sucker jumps up on my face and steals my soul out of me.
And I'm not ready to lose my soul, guys. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. Let's pull Mr. Joe Gray on stage. I believe he's ready, or if Minnie's in chat, if you can give me the thumbs up, that'd be great. Herp, thank you for the party of 2. Also, guys, I forgot to mention this because, again, your boy hasn't eaten. The brain blood is not there.
It's so ill-advisable. I can't believe Get a sandwich or something.
I will get a sandwich during our 5-minute break. With all of our guests, I know that chat is going to be a little wild and it's going to be going a little fast, so I might not be able to read it as much as I would like. But if you have questions for the commentators, we are doing a donation-based question system where all the donations are going to be going to the Special Olympics, and that's the charity that Garage Gym Competition donates all their proceeds to. So if you got a question for Ben or myself or any of the other commentators, $1 is all you need, and we'll try our best to get to it if it's an appropriate question. I gotta, if it's
We'll
appropriate.
get to the inappropriate questions and promptly ignore them. That'll be the standard set.
All right, let's go ahead. We'll pull Mr. Joe Gray in. And Minnie, I saw that dry scoop redemption. I don't know why I didn't turn that off, but thank you. I'll honor that. Alrighty. And oh, I love it. I love it.
Just do it! Make your
I'm over
dreams
here now.
come true!
Yeah, ignore that. Ignore that. These are.
This is it. This is. I'm ready. Okay,
And-
professional.
Mr. Joe Gray.
Man.
Hello, hello. Will I be able to get your video? There we
Yeah.
go.
I think I got it. There we go. Go.
Woo! There we live stream. Joe Gray, how you doing, man?
Good, dude. Saturday and yesterday I finished up all the initial cleanup of the submission data and everything, so that's always a fun one. It's like 16 hours in the last 2 days spent in Excel and Photoshop prepping things, and so yeah, fun. Oh, lost video. 1 second.
I have never seen that screen before.
It's it lets me use my phone as a webcam.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna call you Mr. Gray, and I might
Sure.
alternate between Joe and Joe Gray.
I'm just gonna say, Joe. Good luck to both of you.
Yeah.
Whoever we're talking.
I don't know if you've met Ben Rice before, but he's the other important person for the powerlifting meets that we put on Twitch. He's the strongest person on Twitch. He holds that title.
Nice to meet you,
Nice.
sir.
What's up, Ben?
Great. Now, as I'm queuing up videos, Mr. Joe Gray, Mr. Gray, I wanted you to kind of like introduce yourself a little bit, just like give a little synopsis of who you are and how the Garage Gym Competition came to be.
Sure.
All right, yeah.
So, Joe Gray. I live in Northern California. Live with my wife, Jamie, who's a nurse, and my daughter, Audrey, who is just turned 6, and our dog, Jax. He's a Cane Corso. I've been lifting exclusively out of my garage since 2013, so way before COVID and all that other crazy stuff. And typically, at least for me, I know others fall in the same boat. One hobby kind of turns into a hobby, turns into another hobby of itself.
Mhm.
So lifting weights at home, became, hey, can I do more with lifting weights at home, became being a part of the online community of people who lift weights at home, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a few years in, I had started kind of writing some content on my blog. It turned into starting an Instagram and a YouTube, and then I became a moderator on Reddit, our home gym. We had 40,000 subscribers at the time. We just now crossed 1 million.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Same year I started the Garage Gym Competition, so that was 2018. I reached out to a handful of the guys I know, Adam at Garage Gym Lab, John Greaves at Garage Gym Life, Jake at Garage Gym Experiment, a whole bunch of people, and just said, hey, I have this idea, what do you think? And at that point, so like Jake has like 160,000 followers on Instagram or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Back then he had like 7, right? So much different world when we first kind of started this journey than it is today. But same concept. It was, hey, what if we had a powerlifting meet for people who lift at home? That simple. And so started chatting back and forth with JG3. John Greaves was the first one who said, hey, you don't want to be in the business of like reviewing everybody's lifts and telling them that's high or low squat, or, you know, your butt came off the bench a little bit or whatever kind of thing. And I was like, you're correct, sir. So we started kind of building the rules as we went. People asked like, "Hey, I have a beat up shoulder and I can't bench with a straight bar. Can I lift with a multi-grip bar?" And I'm like,
Yep.
"Sure, fuck it, why not?" Right? Next guy goes, "Hey, I was in the Iraq War. I stepped on a landmine. I can't put any pressure on my feet at all. I can't squat or deadlift. Can I just bench?" Yeah, sure. Someone comes in and says, I need to use a trap bar because I got a bad back. Cool, right?
Hmm.
Can my kids enter? Right? All these different things keep turning into basically, we're not a federation. I don't have to follow typical Fed rules. We're not judging people specifically based on typical powerlifting standards and all these other things. And we're just going to come up with, we want people to lift for the sake of lifting, for
Yeah.
enjoying lifting, for trying something new, for pushing their maybe perceived limitations, and to get something on the calendar that says, this year I hit a 600-pound total. Next year I'm going for 650, right? Something like that. And
Nice.
so people liked it the first year. We had about 80 people just based off of word of mouth. And they were like, "Hey, you want to do it again?" And they said, "Sure. I work a full-time job and got a kid and all kinds of things, but we'll fit it in there." We came back for year two. I had more sponsors, a lot more opportunities and stuff. We had a little over like 200 people. And then year
Hmm.
three was when COVID hit and it blew the hinges off of everything on the whole planet, and everyone and their mom was lifting at home because it was the only option. And we went from 200 people to 1,200, which was not realistic in any way, shape, or form.
Perfectly predictable, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So luckily, the way we had set it up, especially transitioning in the year three, everything was really sustainable from like a scaling perspective. So we had moved from, in year one and two, I was literally going onto Instagram, checking the hashtag and like recording it on my other screen, people's username, lifts, etc. And then year three, we were like, if this keeps growing, we're gonna have to do a submission form. That'll be fine. So luckily, we were gonna do that. There's no registration, all these different things. So everything worked out to where like tomorrow we could have 10,000 people participate and it would still be more or less the same amount of work.
Wow.
Um, so that was good, right? But the crazy part was uh, with COVID, you had people dragging their commercial monoliths, right, back to their garage. They had their combo racks and all kinds of things because they were literally pulling stuff from their powerlifting gyms into the garage
Hmm.
and then went, "Oh, hey, here's this thing I can still get my competition fix in, right, and make it happen." So we
Yeah.
had guys who were going to set like, national records with 800-pound squats and stuff show up and all kinds of things. And they weren't ever going to stick around. As soon as COVID went away, they disappeared. And
Hmm.
so we've been on this kind of like right sizing trip ever since 2020. I think we're close, but every time I think we're there, then the world throws another hiccup, and then something else happens, and whatever. So we're just kind of riding the ride and enjoying it as we go. So
Yeah, and I wanted to speak to something too that you said that uh, this competition that you've created is all about inclusivity,
yep,
and I've always been a big fan of that. That's something that I know I've pretty much pushed on my channel. Ben's a big fan of it, and that's why this merging right here is so perfect. It's just
yep,
good people doing good things.
yep, yep.
Now, that being said, let's watch our first video, and then we'll also get into our first giveaway, and we can kind of talk about that in a little bit. Um, Alrighty, let's go ahead. Let's hope this transition works. Mr. Joe Gray, I don't know if Minnie prepped you, but you can see what I'm seeing through Discord. Yes. All right. Cool. Minnie's the best. This is why he's here. And boom, transition.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, your boy knows.
perfect.
He knows. Alrighty. So we have our first person here. His name's Matt. He was active duty in the Navy for 15 years. He's been lifting for almost 20 years. That's older than some people here in chat right now. And really, he says that staying active is an important aspect for his day to day and showing the kids the importance of being active. All right, so we got him doing a back squat first. Let's go ahead. We'll hit start. Shoot.
So if you haven't watched this one yet, you're gonna have to pay attention real quick because it goes fast.
It goes fast.
Squat. So he squats. Keep it going.
Oh,
Goes right into the deadlift.
Oh man, after my own heart.
Yeah.
This is my
and
world.
And then he's just gonna slide right into the bench.
what the heck?
So Matt started this the first year he competed. I'd have to double check the numbers, but I'm pretty sure he's been in most years, if not every year, since he's active duty military.
What?
I think the first year was actually in a garage, and then a couple of years since then has been like base gyms, because that's just where, because I think he's in like Japan right now or something. But every time he has done it like this, where he does back to back to back lifts,
Mm-hmm.
which is just entertaining for me and impressive. I know Chad, who will be on after me, right? Chad Wesley Smith
Mm-hmm.
has a clip of him doing like a 2,000-pound total in like 56 seconds or something stupid, where he, same thing, squatted, benched, then deadlifted back to back to back, which is just insanity. But yeah, I like it when I see people have a little bit of fun with it.
Oh yeah.
Because it reminds myself, and I think others, that lifting should be fun. Weirdly enough, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the gym 5 days a week, in my garage. Let's say it rounds up to 6 or 7 hours. I should probably have a little bit of fun doing that, if I'm going to do that for the next 20, 30 something years, right? Instead of just absolutely hate myself and get pissed off every time I, miss a lift or whatever. So yeah, that's why I like watching Matt's stuff. On top of him being active duty military, I like just seeing him have a little fun with what he's doing. So
Yeah. And kind of speaking a little bit on the active military, one of our commentators, I've kind of alluded to him already. His name's Rocket Fit. Every year during the Memorial Day weekend, so just upcoming, actually,
Yep.
I think tomorrow,
Yep.
he puts on a giant charity drive here on Twitch,
Nice.
where he does the Murph, and all proceeds go to veterans.
Cool.
And when Rocket Fit gets on later today, he'll talk a little bit more about that. But if you guys are looking to help support fitness and health on Twitch, as well as support a good cause with veterans, Rocket Fit's going to be your guy. Thank you for the shout out, by the way. Yeah, thanks for everybody in chat right now. You guys are doing awesome.
Before moving on, I do want to point out that was a 405-pound squat, a 405-pound deadlift, and a 305 bench. Right? We kind of skipped over what weights those were, but those aren't like little baby weights either.
Yeah.
Do all in
Oh,
one
yeah.
set.
Lift the empty bar. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I mean, 405 is impressive no matter who you are. Like that's like what Ben was saying. That's big boy weight. That's most people will never feel that type of weight. So yeah, shout out to him. I love it.
And no matter how strong you get, it never stops feeling like 400 pounds. That's something that people don't realize either. It's like you've gotten stronger, it got easier. It's like I just got better at moving it, but it's still the same amount of trying to return to its home at the center of the earth, and it doesn't care that you're in the way.
And, dude, honestly, that was the biggest scam with powerlifting. I thought as I got stronger, it would be easier. It's only getting harder, and I hate it.
Do you guys follow Brandon Campbell by chance? Basement Brandon?
I know Brandon, yeah.
Yeah, so
Brandon's a friend.
Brandon put up a post, I think it was yesterday, on Instagram, and he's working through some new cues for squat, and he's talking about how like he was trying squat shoes again, and I think I've seen him try them on and off a handful of different times times over the years. He's got like 15 different knee sleeves and all kinds of stuff that he's working through. And he's like, okay, so the cue that's working for me right now is to sit back a little, right? So he's like, it works for me because I'm a low bar squatter. It helps me reach depth and whatever. And I commented, I'm like, so the best part is, that in about 6 months, that cue isn't going to work anymore, and you're going to have to find another one because it's just a constant change and evolution. You'll add like 5 pounds to your squat, and then what worked yesterday doesn't work anymore, and you got to move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, which I have grown to realize over the years is probably the reason why most people stagnate, get injured, get frustrated, and give up, is because they can't kind of like continue to pivot a little by a little by a little and keep that moving. So
it applies to programming too, and like I know constantly, Joe probably gets this all the time. I get this all the time when someone comes into the chat during a stream and says, "What's the best program for this?"
Yep.
And like they might even be, instead of just what's the general best program, they might have a little bit more self-awareness and say, like, for a lifter who's got these numbers.
Sure.
And it's like, well, it depends on your leverages, depends on your personal experience. Like
Mhm.
somebody getting to that number who weighs 400 pounds versus someone who's like 100 pounds might be a completely different body composition and completely different leverages and go about it in different ways. And so the best approach for like that individual person, and it's the best approach for you 5 years ago, might not be the same as the best approach right now, because your needs will change, your volume tolerances, your recovery, everything is in a constant state of flux. If you have a bad day sometimes, the cue that would normally work, like you're like, oh yeah, but my dog threw up on the carpet and I'm really stressed about it. And so now I'm like, I'm not focused quite as much, and I didn't get enough sleep. And
which I have found sometimes can help, because sometimes you get out of your head and you just go fuck it, time to lift, and all of a sudden you crush some stuff. So
yeah, if you stop yourself from overthinking it, it's just, but there's so many different factors. And so I think the best key to forward progress and success is the acceptance of potential like experimentation, and not being scared of failure, like being willing to try something and say like, hey, even if this doesn't work, I can learn from it and I can move forward. And even if I tried something and it was not the most effective, I might be able to revisit it. You said Brandon came back and would like re-experiment with the squat shoes. I do that like every 3 years. I'll go like, what if I tried lifting with a raised heel? And I'm like, oh yeah, after a few weeks it starts to feel better. And then I go back to flats and I'm like, actually, this is the best for me. It just feels instantly better.
No, well said, Ben. Well said, guys. All right, let's move on to our next lifter here. Boom, nice transition. I love it.
Boom transition.
Can you show, because are you on his page or did you download him?
Oh, I'm on his page right now. You want me to show his Insta?
Yeah, so instead of, so this is Swoley Potato out of Texas. So instead of showing his lifts, if you can show his, he's got he hosted what we call a local meet. So he had like 12 people at his house. It should be probably that the top left post.
The pin?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Rotate.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
That's a big garage.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this is
some audio.
Jake. He's originally from Sacramento, and unfortunately, I did not get to meet him before he left. He used to lift with Alan Thrall out of Untamed Strength.
Wow. Okay.
And then moved to Texas, and him and I have collaborated on a handful of things over the years. Jake's a super cool dude, and he has, for the last 2 years, so last year he was the first one, and then this year hosted, like I said, we call them local meets. So you open up your garage, invite a bunch of people over, lift some weights, have some fun, eat some food, whatever it might be, and you essentially treat it like a real mock meet kind of thing, right?
That's awesome.
And so yeah, so his is one of the probably 2 or 3 biggest ones. So, and he gets a cool videographer out there, and they do some good work. And
yeah,
so that's awesome.
All right, so let's watch it. I haven't seen this, by the way, guys. I wanted to be surprised on all these videos, so I skimmed a tiny bit just to make sure there was no nudity on some of the ones I was gonna watch.
It's like, Joseph, this is live, my friend.
Yeah, just a little bit. But I was like, my buddy Mr. Gray over here, he wouldn't get us banned on Twitch.
Hope not.
I trust him.
That's not a good move for me either.
All right, let's hit play. Oh, there we go. No audio. There we go.
Ooh, look at this B-roll. Check the, okay. The cover footage.
Oh!
Stop yours Vicky for a second. They're getting after it.
Yeah, they are. Get it? Woo! Oh, he's been here before. He's been here before,
Control.
yeah.
Okay, the boat hat. Perfect.
Yeah.
To keep your, to keep all your blood vessels contained within your dome. There's a lot of pressure.
I think that dude hits it's a 6-plate squat and a 6-plate deadlift, I think. So,
Wow.
Yeah, showing up with the boat hat.
Everybody
Maybe no
needs
one
a
else
boat
looked
hat.
down.
Whoa.
Chad would argue you need boat shoes.
I've seen that man lift boat shoes.
If you haven't heard that story, ask him when he shows up on later.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Ooh. Is the wrist wrap not even on? Looks like it came undone.
I think that might be his thumb,
Yeah.
this thumb loop.
Yeah.
That was adorable. She had a little dumbbell.
Yeah!
You can't see the water. That's exactly it. You gotta have a water heater is a +10 to strength stats. Background.
Yeah.
This is, I love this energy in this gym right now. Oh!
So that, I think that dude's the bodybuilder that showed up.
I believe it.
You can
He's
tell
shredded.
because he's tan. That's
Yeah. Yeah, dude! Yes!
That was gonna be that was a 6-plate pull too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
and he just leaves.
Yeah, run away! Run away!
I gotta get back to my yacht. We're taking the houseboat for the weekend.
Potato Power Classic. I love it.
Oh.
So one of the things, so
Class
when
for
people
that.
register, they can register to host a local meet, and one of the things we do for them if they're interested is we make meat shirts for them. And so, so that's what you were seeing at the end there was his actual like local meat shirt for that event. So.
I do want to give. Gosh darn it, Ben! Getting back to the yacht killed me.
Rocket said it. I was like, is this a Lady Gaga thing where she shows up with the meat suit? But no, it's the. We wouldn't be opposed to that either. But it's a lot more. It's a lot more ethically sourced.
A little bit of stats though on the Potato Power Classic. There was 12 competitors, so a lot of energy in that gym.
Yep.
3 loaders / spotters. There was 1 official as well, which is kind of wild.
Yep.
1 videographer, like you saw, and they lifted 26,355 pounds. That's insane between 12 people. That's a lot of weight. And
Especially
then
since it wasn't like it was all big dudes. You had a mix. You know, there was a couple of chicks in there. You had a couple of big guys. You had the bodybuilder guy. Like, I think there was a bunch of people that like powerlifting isn't exactly their primary source of, you know, lifting.
Yep.
Yep.
There was even a baby.
Potato.
Yep.
There was the. I hope they counted that. That was at least a 2.5-pound dumbbell that was being held by that.
If they submitted it, we counted it.
I love it. Good on these guys. I'm a big fan of having events like that because it's just fun. Like it's good energy. People are exercising, and I bet you anything they had a barbecue afterwards, and that's the best. I love it. Now, Mr. Gray, as I get the next videos queued up, would you like to get us started on our first ever giveaway?
Sure. How do I do that?
So I will handle the tech side of it.
Wait, Joe, let's go. All right.
I will handle the tech side of it. All you need to do is just talk about the giveaway that you're going to be doing, and I'll get it going.
Yep. So, so if you don't know, during the competition itself, we give out like, I think this year for each event it's just shy, like it's a couple of bucks shy of about $20,000 in prizes. So if you didn't enter, you should definitely put it on your calendar for the fall, because we'll be back with the same sponsors and prizes. For right now, for the live stream, I am handing out one of our fancy schmancy t-shirts from the Garage Gym Competition store. So we gave out one to one of the participants who checked off that he wanted to be included in the live stream. So I announced that this morning over on Instagram. And so one person today right now who's active and live here on Twitch will win one. So
Yes.
we've got so there's a handful of different options. So one is the basic Garage Gym Competition logo. So that guy on a shirt. Oh, yep, bringing it up.
Yep.
You got the this year's 999 pound club shirts, which is a little shade at one of the bigger companies, as well as a little Jay-Z 99 Problems influence. So no joke. I was trying to figure out a good way to take that picture, and I ended up being in the back of my truck bed because it's where I could set my phone and get the right lighting and not have too much stuff behind me. And so I'm in the back of my truck like this, and one of my neighbors drives by and goes, "Dude, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just being an idiot. Don't worry about it."
Photo shoot. It's for my TikTok. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Kids
my
these days.
TikTok.
And
All
then
right.
I think if you scroll down, there's one other example is the ones right in the middle there. The Garage Gym community shirts and stuff. And so those all come in different sizes, different cuts. So there's tanks, there's regular shirts, there's kids sizes, whatever colors. You can pick whatever you want, and then we'll send it to you. So
Perfect. Alrighty. So what I need from you guys is when the raffle goes live, all you need to do is be following this channel, be following Garage Gym Competition, and then just type in !raffle and you'll be entered. That's that simple. And then while the raffle's going on, we're gonna keep on watching videos because I want to see more. Boom, and the raffle has started. !raffle, guys. You got 7 minutes, which is an odd amount of time, but we
What? Did you pick that? Is that a choice that was made?
So this is run through Streamlabs. So no, I'm not going to throw shade at Streamlabs, but they said the value was in minutes. So I put 2 minutes, and somehow it is 7. So I don't know what increment of time they're using.
You must have added 2 minutes to the 5 baseline or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's okay. 7 minutes.
7 minutes. I love it.
7.
Oh man. Alrighty. Let's go ahead. We'll pull up these next people. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I'm actually I'm a really big fan of that 999 Problems. Like that is a great shirt.
we had 3 or 4 initial design concepts, and then the one that got picked was actually the idea from a buddy of mine, TJ, who I think is one of the ones we might watch today. And so I reached out to him, like, okay, what do you want the shirt, like the final design to look like? So he sends me the picture of Jay-Z with the hat tilted, and he's like, I need you with that hat doing that. And I'm like, all right, I aim to please. So here we go.
Committed to the cause.
Yeah, it worked.
So speaking of the 999 pound club here,
Yeah.
I think we know who this person is.
He looks familiar.
He looks familiar. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
How much weight is this? It looks like what, 5 plates, if I'm counting correctly.
505.
505.
Yeah, so 5 plates, 45-pound bar, and then the comp collars.
The chub collars. Yeah.
These are nice.
Have you ever used those, Joe?
Yeah, I actually have them right there. Like,
Oh, they're so nice. For anybody who's watching and doesn't know, it's a collar that you can tighten it down, but then you can also screw the end plate in so it pushes the plates in and keeps them from shaking around or loosening. So
that bar is a Vonco from the 80s, and the collars are Ivankos from the 80s, and
Love
they
the
are
Ivankos.
just amazing.
They're so good.
Ooh. All right, let's take a look. Let's get some audio. Ah! Less audio. Ooh.
What I was the most happy about on that squat was how deep that was.
I was gonna say, I was expecting there to be a stopping point like
Yeah.
before it got
Yeah.
down there, and it wasn't.
Ooh.
Barely on the 345.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that wasn't my best day for bench. And then this was 630.
630 on the deads. I love watching people's deadlift rituals. This is my favorite part of the lift. Yes. Get it! Get it!
And then the glutes.
Whoa!
Easy weight for baby. Easy weight for baby.
Yes, dude!
I was expecting more of a pop off afterwards.
Yeah.
I think
I'm,
Joe will lift anything, and then be like, "Wow, I did it!" And I'll be like, "Yeah, Joe."
I'm a calm.
Mhm.
I've tried over the years to be that guy that's like, let's go, kind
I-
of thing. And all it does is it gets me amped up, and then I can't do what I need to do.
Yep.
So instead, like, you can see me, like, you're talking about the ritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a picture that I have in my phone before the squat even, where I'm just sitting there holding onto the bar, like, just chill.
Mhm.
Same thing with the deadlift. Like, all I'm focusing on is getting my stuff kind of lined up straight. The big breath, and then go. That's it. Like, I'm trying to clear my head. Nothing's going on. Whatever. As opposed to, and that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, right? You know, you got to find what works for you on
Yep.
everything. If I tried to follow what everybody else does, right? Most 800-pound deadlifters or whatever are out there smacking themselves and getting all pissed off, and that works for them. It would not work for me at all. So
Yeah, for the first year that I actually streamed my workouts on Twitch, I didn't have any background music because I was
Mhm.
trying to
Yeah.
get to the point where I don't want to be like distracted, and I wanted to remove there from being like an emotional component. Because it's nice if you can like add that in at some point to
Yeah.
like elevate you, but you can also desensitize yourself. It's like
Yep.
protect your PR songs is something I've heard people say.
Yep.
If you have a song that gets you hyped up, like don't listen to it for every single lift. Wait
Yep.
and save it for the big one so that you get yourself in that headspace. But whatever gets you there is the important thing, whether that's more of a moderated, like meditative approach, or if it's something that's like you just want to like get after it. Okay, this
Yep.
is adorable, Joe. What is this?
Oh, yeah, because you guys can see what I'm doing, but stream can't. And I got very concerned because as I'm setting up things, I don't want them to see the background.
Sorry.
I was like, oh no. All right, so this next video here, we got, by the way, a minute left on the giveaway, !mark raffle. This next submission here is from Audrey. And there were 3 PRs, right? 3 PRs on the squat, bench, deadlift. It's, again, I'm such a big fan of what you're doing here. Just making this a very inclusive event. And tech stuff, please work for me. There we go.
So if people don't recognize when it comes up, this is my daughter. So
And we got it. There we go. Great. All right, let's get some audio.
The little are those homemade squat stands or are those?
yeah, I
That's-
made them.
It's adorable.
That's great.
I love this bar too.
So she's got the OSO bar there for those 2 lifts. And then for whatever reason, we didn't catch the deadlift video. But so she's got we actually make a garage gym competition bar for kids.
Uh-huh.
Which that's what she's deadlifting.
I was
with
about to
there.
say, good lord, is
Yeah.
that what that Oh my!
So the bar is, I think it's 10 kilos, American made, and the big win on it is that on the end cap it says there's a blank spot, *S bar, so they can write their own name. So hers literally
Oh.
says
Audrey's
Audrey's bar on the end of it.
That's so cool.
That's
Yeah.
precious. is.
and then because I mean, the whole point is to get the kids in and enjoying it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
having your own bar and making it literally her bar is kind of a selling point there. The plates are pine, so it's a pine round that's meant to be like a tabletop or something like that. And
Okay.
then you just hole saw down the middle, and it fits on the bar perfectly. And then my cousin at one point helped me cut the spokes and the hub and the rim and stuff out of plywood with a
Oh.
jigsaw. And so the plates look like mine, but they have like her first, middle, and last, her
Yep.
birth date, her birth weight, that kind of stuff on it. So
That's
This is
really cool.
awesome. Very
Yeah.
wholesome.
Well, it's a really cool thing too to see the homemade with the squat stands. I know when COVID came around, a lot of people were kind of trying to build their own stuff, and
Mhm.
it just
Mhm.
goes to show that you don't have to have a gym membership to
Yep.
be pursuing. You like a little bit. You're limited by your creativity when it
Yeah.
comes to home stuff, and so
Especially what I try and tell people with the kids is like, so, wood, even with my woodworking skills, will hold a 25-pound squat, right?
Mhm.
It'll hold, like that's fine. So mine it's a hunk of wood on the bottom, it's a post, and then I drilled out a hole for the J cups, so I can take the J cups off my rack, put them on there, so that way I didn't have to trust that I would make something that would
that
hold
would
the
hold up
bar.
even after that little pivot
Yep.
point. Yeah.
Yep. So, super simple. Handful of screws, probably a couple of bucks in wood. And we painted them. She's put some stickers on them. She's used them for the last couple of years, and she'll continue to probably for another couple more until she's, fully in the rack. Because
Hmm.
her bigger bar, the GGC bar, is rackable. So, but the OSO bar is not. So.
Awesome. Yeah, and so is that something that she's probably seen you lifting for quite a while now? Is that something where she's like, I want to get in there, I want to lift some weights, or
So
did oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No,
Oh,
go
I was
ahead.
gonna
Go
say
ahead. Go ahead.
she goes back and forth. So what we try and do is encourage her, but not push her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a picture of her. She's like a week old, strapped in one of the like baby carriers on my chest, and I'm in the garage doing like face pulls. I've got a picture where she's like maybe 6 months to a year, and I'm using her as weight for split squats. So
Mm-hmm.
like she's been in the gym forever.
Hmm.
She used to, because my wife used to work Sundays and I used to do legs on Sunday. There's videos of her hanging out in her little like rocking chair in the garage while I'm squatting with chains and stuff. Right? I got
Yeah.
400 plus on the cambered bar with 120 in chains, rocking, making a ton of noise, and she's just chilling. And so, I've had people ask me over the years, "Oh, how do you lift but like your kid takes a nap?" And I'm like, "Well, my daughter used to sleep in the garage. Like there was no problem. She
Yeah.
was used to it, so it didn't scare her or anything like that." And so by growing up in and around all of that over the last 6 years, it's perfectly normal to her. So she's not
Yeah.
afraid of any of those things. She does a really good job of listening and paying attention in terms of the rules. And we've had a couple of times where we're like, you can't walk on the platform while I'm deadlifting 500 pounds, right? Like that's
Yeah.
not safe for anybody. She still likes to come out of the kitchen and start talking to you when you're mid-set. So we have to try and work through those ones as well. But
That's the commercial gym experience being provided by your own
yeah,
offspring.
yeah,
That's how
Yeah.
that works. Yeah, she's a stand-in.
was some video of me at one point like pulling a PR, and like halfway through the bar's like up above my knees, and you just hear her like, "Hey dad, so at school today I was," and you're like, "Yep, okay, cool." So
You're like, I want to hear
uh,
this, but in 10 more seconds, please.
yeah, just
Yeah.
let me finish what I'm currently actually doing.
That's the home gym version of. So how many sets do you have? Do
Yeah.
you like work out here often? Is it...
Do you have games on your phone? You know, it's all there. All right.
But yeah,
So,
so she shows up. Some weeks she's like, "Hey, I want to lift," and she wants to lift multiple times a week. Sometimes she wants to do exactly what we're doing. Sometimes, so do you know what a rickshaw is? Like for like weighted carries? It's
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
an open trap bar.
Okay.
So she kept trying to pick up ours, and of course she can't because it's 50 pounds. It's super wide. So we made her one out of wood. So she has one of those. She'll use that occasionally. And that's the best, by the way, because then she walks down the driveway and down the.
Hey, let me give y'all some story about the
sidewalk,
grocery gang since we just got some new
drive
members, yo.
by, and
The
they
grocery gang,
put
right?
these,
So
right,
it,
as they're watching
it's really
the
stupid. It's
carry,
nothing
like, 50
crazy.
pounds,
So
and just
instead of
walk
training
and then
to be
walk
strong, you know, get a bigger
but,
deadlift, anything
yeah,
like
so
that.
we don't push her to do any of it, but she's definitely, especially like so that was on Sunday. She woke up and she's like, I don't know if I'm gonna lift today. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll just see how you feel. And then when everyone else was lifting, she was like, I'm gonna lift today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, no, that's awesome. And yeah, again, I really like that you're creating this healthy environment for fitness. I think we can all get behind that. All right, so the giveaway has ended. Let's go ahead. We're gonna pick our first winner to get your Garage Gym competition merch, and it is, drum roll please. It is.
Cat.
Cat.
There you
I want to say the full name, but Cat.
Cat P. Get in there, Cat. It's not better. It doesn't make it better to say Cat P.
Yeah.
Well done.
Cat, if you are in the chat, please message me. We'll get all of your details, and I'll forward it on over to Mr. Gray. There she is.
Oh
It's like picking winners on Reddit, and
Yeah.
it's, some random user-generated name or whatever, and you just go, I can't pick butt stuff fun guy
69, 420. Yeah.
XXX blaze it.
Yeah.
But Kat, make sure to DM me, and we'll link that all up. Thank you
Kaping.
so much.
I'm gonna say kaping. Winners kaping.
All right, let's move on to our next entry. We'll go ahead. Boom. I love it. So we have Christopher over here. He's a EMT, I believe. Yeah, an advanced EMT. And yeah, and this is actually something that I was very interested in seeing, because he said that he's been in a constant state of rehab. And for everyone who doesn't know, I'm in physical therapy school right now. So I like to see people who may have not been able to lift due to an injury or, something happening to them in their life, and then coming back and crushing PRs, which I believe he does in this video. Boom. I love it. There we go.
So this is a safety squat bar box squat. And
There's a
then that
football
is
bar,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep, neutral grip, so it doesn't have as much external rotation on your shoulders. It's a little bit healthier and in more natural movement.
And then essentially a rack pull off the
Mhm.
was it MB Power Center PR platform or whatever.
Oh.
Oh, that's good eye on that. I would never have been able to get that.
I'm a little weird with gym equipment.
So in terms of form, right?
Yeah.
He's looking pretty good, like for being in a constant state of rehab.
Well, and
He's
that's
keeping a
kind of what
nice-
you want to do. If things keep falling apart and hurting on you, and you're having to do a bunch of variant movements, it's like you want to make sure that you're staying consistent with your setup and your positioning to make sure you're not putting undue stress in any on any joint in a direction that it's not meant to go. A lot of injuries are when you go outside of your stable range of motion that you can control something. And so what you're seeing here is a bunch of some alterations in how the bar is being held or what the setup is to make it a little bit kinder on the joints or to reduce the range of motion. A lot of times it's like, oh, I hurt something and it hurts to get to the bottom of a squat, or it hurts to get to the bottom range of motion on a deadlift. And so if you're rehabbing, removing some of that range allows you a little bit more stability to continue training through it, so that when you go back to regular training through a full range of motion, you haven't just not been lifting for 6 months. You've been working through what you could, and your progressive overload goes to adding more range back to the lift instead of necessarily weight on the bar, which is what it's what you'll see a lot of the time with it. You don't want to make yourself bad at moving things and then wait a long time and then try to move stuff again, or you're gonna stay forever in a constant state of rehab.
Or make it worse, right? And we
Yeah.
definitely don't want to regress. We want to progress.
So 2 things on him. One, so I like the fact that he gets what we're doing here, which is instead of just saying I can't, right?
Yep.
He said, "What can I do?"
Mm-hmm.
So he went out, he picked lifts with bars, with whatever. He still squat, benched, and deadlift, right? So the rule I typically say is if it looks like a squat, bench, or deadlift, it probably counts. So he did that, which is awesome. And then 2 is so him and I chat pretty regularly on Instagram. We have a little bit of dead time after the 2 meets in like June and about December, where we run what we call mini GGCs. So people over the years have asked us to do like, can you do an Olympic lifting competition or a strongman one or whatever? And the first response was like, I don't know if you understand how much time and effort goes into planning this, and I like understand powerlifting. Trying to do an Olympic lifting one that I don't know anything about would just crush me. But so what we did is like kind of a compromise was these mini events. So they take like about a week. We normally have like one sponsor give away one prize. And we just say like on a Monday, here it is. It closes on Saturday. Submit your stuff. Good to go. So he did one last year. He, as himself, sponsored one in December where we did, I think it was like a Turkish get up. Was it a pull up and a box jump or something? I might have a few of those wrong, but the general idea was like, do some weird stuff you haven't done before and see how it works. And so the nice thing there is like, I had a bunch of people go, I'd never done Turkish get-ups before. I was stronger at them than I thought I was gonna be, but it was also extremely humbling, and I was very sore the next day.
Yep.
Clearly something I should look into, right? And so again, challenging people to try and do something a little different, especially in a kind of like an off-season stance where you just competed in powerlifting. You don't need to go right back to a straight bar of squat, bench, and deadlift necessarily. You can take a little bit of a breather and then, see where you might have some gaps and then come back and be a little bit stronger and better and everything the next time. So.
Oh, that's well said. I like that. Yeah, and it's yeah, people really underestimate those Turkish get-ups. It's we're a big fan of it in physical therapy, and for a lot of my jiu-jitsu athletes that I write programs for, it's one of the best movements for jiu-jitsu. Like, if I had to be like, this one workout doctors don't want you to know, Turkish get-up.
I found that, especially you figure squat, bench, and deadlift, you don't move, right? You're moving through like a single plane, but you're not physically moving. Your feet don't move, whatever. All of a sudden you add in something like a get up or a weighted carry or whatever into someone's programming, and like the carryover isn't necessarily direct, but it is very like you fill a lot of gaps when all of a sudden you make someone do something that's a lot different than those 3, but still get you strong. So like I do weighted carries with our rickshaw. I have my wife do them. I've said before, if I could only do one exercise, that would probably be it, because you can hit hamstrings, glutes, back, forearms, like all these different things, cardio, the whole deal with one deal. And moving with like 500 pounds in your hand is just a crazy thing. Like it just,
Oh yeah.
it feels awesome once you're done. Like I don't know, I don't even know how to like. I deadlifted 630 and like I love that, but for some reason walking around with a shit ton of weight and then putting it back down just feels I don't know.
It feels more useful because you deadlift. I always joke about the power lifts themselves are a little bit silly with like no context. Like for a
Yeah.
squat, you're gonna pretend to sit in an invisible chair, decide halfway you're gonna stand up, bench you squish and unsquish yourself, deadlift you picked up the thing, but then you put it down, you didn't even take it anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's ending up in the same spot. But like some of these other things, strength is a lot of people underestimate how specific strength can be.
Yeah.
They say you're really really strong at this one thing. Does that mean that a lot of times you see people say like, oh, if you got into a fight with somebody, you just totally hack them up because you're so strong. It's like, no, I get my butt kicked because I'm not trained in that way. It's specific. If you set me up with these set of parameters, and so those kind of things, a Turkish get up or a carry, or anything that kind of takes you outside of that same frame of movement forces you to enroll a different type of coordination and a different type of strength expression, which can be really useful because the main reason I think most of us would like to do this is to be strong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not just be good at this one expression of that strength, but to be generally strong, to open all the pickle jars. That's what we're this is why I'm coming to you again, my friends. Pickle jars in 2023. They should never be left unopened. Open all of them. That's my campaign notice. Good.
Yeah, you guys heard it here first. Go to the store, open all the pickle jars, and leave. Backed by Ben Rice.
Yep.
We asked my daughter one time, oh yeah, so why did mom marry dad? So as in my wife marry me, and her simple response was, so I can pick up and move all the flower pots. And I'm like, I mean, you're not like horribly wrong. That's pretty close. So
Yeah, my duty in the household is to kill spiders and open things and move stuff around. That's
Oh, that's awesome. Alrighty, let's move on to our next competitor, Teasing Trouble. So a little bit about Teasing Trouble here. They are 61 years old, and she did some impressive lifts. Like crazy stuff that, the people that I work with, I work with 60 and up. That's my normal population that I work with. These are next level numbers. So big shout out there. Boom. We got our squat here. Love the leggings.
You said 62?
She's turning 62 next month.
She doesn't look 62.
That's what I said.
Keeps you young.
It's creatine and powerlifting. That was impressive. What?
I like the little like, oh, I'm walking off. I've got other stuff to do.
No big
Yeah.
Just another day.
I got grown-up things to do after this. Why don't I watch this one more time?
So we do
Look at that
try and
depth!
do about one a month. We do what we call like an athlete spotlight on somebody who lifts in the competition. So we did one on her last year at some point, and it's a really good read. She talks about like growing up in an era of when women weren't supposed to be strong physically, emotionally, psychologically, all kinds of stuff, and how she's kind of learned to buck that norm and turn into her own definitions of strong and all kinds of things. And so it's a cool read, and definitely was one of my favorite interviews so far of anyone who's competed. So
Awesome.
That's good stuff.
And on that squat, that was a 45-pound PR. That's insane. Good job.
What was the weight of it?
195 pounds.
That's a lot of grocery bags to carry inside, kids.
I'd take a 45-pound PR.
I was
Oh,
yeah.
We got
ever hit a 45-pound PR. I don't think I've ever. That's a big one right there.
That's huge. All right, we got a 105-pound bench here. Nice. Jim's very quiet. Okay.
Another one of those calm kind of approaches, and more methodical.
Oh, yeah, you had it. That was all you. Woo! Oh, that rack is terrifying.
That
Oh.
So she's at home COVID lifter. She competes, or she lifts at like another, I think a commercial gym or whatever with her coach. But she's also competed in like, I think it's either USAPL or USPA. And she had told me at one point, like, they just bought what they could for at home, and so they have that. So,
Yeah. You just have
some-
to be more aware, I guess,
Yeah.
because you can't like jam forward into the rack. You just have to
Yep.
be a little bit more controlled.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah. Those style of racks always scare me. I'm
Squat stands. Yeah.
yeah. I need a cage. All right, next lift. We got a 250-pound deadlift. She's only lifted this weight 3 times before, so this is her 4th time lifting this weight, which is always kind of a scary thing when it's not something that you regularly do.
Yep.
It's a nice little like mental PR. I love it. I like the quietness of the gym. Nice.
Move the whole way through.
Plain.
Yeah, great form. I love it.
Even controlled on the way down.
That was a good smile too at the end.
Yeah.
She knows she crushed that one.
Yeah, that's how you can. That's the way that you can go through and continue lifting through any age. Is to focus on maintaining good positions. I don't know how many times people have gone into a bunch of different places and like, I heard deadlifting is dangerous, and it's like, well, if you're an idiot about it, but there's nothing inherently dangerous about the movement of deadlifting if you're doing it right with an appropriate weight with good control on positions, and that right there is a demonstration of that.
Yeah.
You're not frail depending on your age. You can develop an anti-frail mindset.
Oh yeah, 100%. Quick little story too before we get the ball rolling. I had a 91-year-old patient who was just like, you would look at her, you're like, you're not 91. She would bounce around, she would dance, she constantly had a beat in her head. And I went with her to geriatric Pilates, and I've never been more smack talk in my life. She kept saying, she was nonstop smack talking me because I couldn't hold some of the poses that she was holding. And to me, that just speaks volumes about age being a number.
Get styled on, Joseph. Yeah.
Dude, I got beat up by her. Now, Mr. Gray, Mr. Joe Gray, Joe, I want to say thank you for joining us for our first hour as our first commentator, doing our first ever giveaway, and just being an awesome person for the start of the live stream.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. And if I could get one of our mods here in chat to please link the Garage Gym Competition Instagram, please go and follow it. They do amazing things. They're doing great things for the fitness and health community, and we need to support that. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a small 5-minute break just to line a few things up, get the next commentator in, as well as maybe find some food. I am hungry. I'm hungry. I'm dying.
How fast can you make that sandwich, Joe?
Well, how fast can I eat the sandwich? I will not eat
Is it already made? Because that's the other issue.
Alrighty, guys. Let's go ahead. We'll take our break. Mr. Joe Gray, thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
All
Have a
right.
great day.
Bye. And boom.